What's going on, guys? Kendall here for Benos for Pros and Joes. As many of you know, I recently crossed the 100 subscriber mark, and I wanted to make a video that is a little bit different than any of the videos that I've made in the past to commemorate this milestone. So in this video, I'm going to share 15 tips for things that I wish I knew when I launched my YouTube channel. Now, many of these I was already aware of, but some of them I picked up along the way, and I want to share them with you in the event that you are planning to start a YouTube channel and are weighing the pros and cons. Number one is publish frequently. Publishing frequently gives your viewers something to see. So say, for example, you launch your channel one day and you only upload one video or only have one video there on the channel. If the people that are watching the video enjoy the content and want to consume more, and they go back to your homepage to see what other videos you have available, there's nothing there for them to watch, and then they leave the channel, okay? So this is a missed opportunity. The second reason why you want to publish frequently is because it gives you more practice. Practice with using your camera, practice with editing, and practicing with posting. All of these skills over time you will develop, and your process for cranking out content will become a lot more streamlined and fluid. The next reason why you want to publish frequently is because it gives you data. Each time that you upload a video onto the platform, you can see on the back end how that video is performing compared to other videos, and you can see all types of analytical stats on watch time and things like that. So you can help measure how you want to move forward with regards to the type of content that you want to create going forward, as well as any changes that you may want to make as the video matures on the page. The next thing that I want to share with you guys is that your frequency in publishing is going to directly impact the number of views and subscribers that you get. And I'm going to use my channel as an example. Approximately 45 days ago, I was probably in the range of 40 to, I'd say in the mid 40s with regards to number of subscribers. However, I decided I was going to post videos more frequently, and that's what I did. And as I ramped up my production and posting schedule, I realized that my subscribership increased drastically. So over the last 45 days, I have increased my channel subscribership basically 2 times over. So I was approximately around 45 subscribers. Now I'm over 100. I also wanted to add that I hit the 100 subscriber mark 8 days ago, and 8 days later, I'm around 118 subscribers. So the things are definitely picking up. I have not been posting as frequently as I should over the last week or so. I've just been covered up, but I'm going to get better as we move forward. So the next thing I want to share with you guys is to master your equipment. So regardless of what type of camera that you guys are using, make sure that you are getting the most out of it. And that means consuming as much content as you can with regard to getting advice and tutorials on how to get your best shot, how to get the best sound out of the camera, how to do the best editing. There's all types of software that's out there. Even if you're filming purely on your camera, there's things that you can do to upgrade the way that your audio sounds, and there's also things that you can do with regards to lighting that will help improve your overall production value, which ultimately should lead to a better viewing experience for those that are watching, which ultimately should help with your subscribership and watch time. The next thing that I want to share with you guys is the importance of thumbnails. So your thumbnail is going to be the first thing that most people are going to see when they come to your channel, or before they come to your channel, just in their suggested videos to the right of the screen, or maybe even in their search results in the middle. And so based on that thumbnail, that's going to be one of the things that is going to help drive engagement to your video. One of the ranking factors that YouTube uses to rank and decide how favorable they're going to view your video is going to be your click-through rate. And your click-through rate is going to be directly tied to your thumbnail, as well as words and things that can appear within your title and maybe the first 2 lines or so of your description. So these are all things to keep in mind when you are creating your content. Make sure that you spend adequate amount of time with creating your thumbnail, and that's going to be everything from making sure that you've got a great picture to start with, as well as, if you choose to use words and text and things on the screen, to make sure that you create something that is going to be engaging and appealing to the people that are going to be watching and searching on YouTube. The next tip that I want to share with you is with regards to growing your channel and the factors that are going to be most important. Many people focused mainly on subscribership over watch time and views. All these things have different levels of importance, but in my opinion, your watch time is going to be by far your most important variable, and I'll explain why. The watch time is going to be what YouTube uses to determine the level of engagement with your video. So you may see one video that has 100 views, and you may have another video that only has 10 views. Well, if the video that has 100 views is only being watched for 1 minute per view, that's 100 minutes of watch time. However, that video that only has 10 views may have a watch time of 20 minutes per view. So that would mean that the 10 view video actually has twice the amount of watch time of the 100 view video. Now, you wouldn't be able to tell this as an outsider looking in, but if you had access to the analytics on the back end, that's something that you'd be able to see. And these are things that you're going to find important as you're growing your channel, being able to watch the data to make sure that you are doing what you need to do in order to make your video optimal for consumption, which will increase your watch time. The next thing that I want to talk about is going to be directly related to your audience, which is, in my opinion, you should value and prioritize the people who are choosing to watch your content, and particularly those who are or have become subscribers. And I'll tell you what I mean specifically by that. There's a lot of different things that you can do with your channel in order to try and grow the subscribership. Some are going to be better than others, but what I would steer clear of is just having anyone join as a subscriber, because ultimately what you're wanting with your channel is engagement. So in an ideal scenario, the majority of the people who are subscribers are going to be people who are going to be watching your content on an ongoing basis. So what I mean is, you don't want to have a gazillion subscribers and none of those subscribers ever engage with your content, meaning they don't ever watch your content, because that doesn't really help your channel. The next suggestion that I would like to make is to study. If you're going to be serious about growing a channel or developing an online presence, you're going to have to spend the time with learning and getting up to speed on the lay of the land, as well as general best practices, regardless of which platform you're on, whether that's YouTube or Instagram or Twitter or Pinterest or whatever the case may be. You've got to study and you've got to put the time in. The next thing I want to go back and discuss is going to be practice. You want to practice, practice, practice. I know that I mentioned that initially, and I gave 3 reasons that you want to continue to practice on an ongoing basis, but another reason why you want to practice that I didn't mention earlier is just the ability to become comfortable in front of the camera. And the more comfortable that you become in front of the camera, the better you're able to speak more fluidly. And if you're able to speak more fluidly, that means that on the back end, when you're doing your editing, it makes your process a lot easier and more streamlined, because you can waste a lot of time when you go back to do your editing if you're trying to cut out all the ums and ahs and awkward breaks in your speech. So practice makes perfect. The next tip that I want to provide is regard to sound quality. Many people focus solely on the quality of the video, which is important, but sound quality is going to be just as important, if not more important, particularly going into the future. If you haven't noticed, YouTube has recently begun to roll out a service that will allow its users to watch or listen to their content without the screen on their phone actually being on. This is probably an awesome way to consume music, as well as videos that are going to be sharing informational content that doesn't necessarily require you to see what's going on the screen, which will essentially allow you to consume that content in a more of a podcast format. And with that being said, the audio is going to be even more increasingly important, because there's going to be people consuming your content, or there already are people consuming your content who are not actually watching the screen and are purely listening to the words that you are saying. The next thing that I want to suggest to you is to stay in your analytics. Once you sign up for your account, you're going to be able to have access to a lot of data on the back end with regards to your videos and how they're performing against one another, as well as a lot of information and things that you can change over the life of the video. You want to pay close attention to these statistics, and one of the things that I like to do periodically is take screenshots of what's on the page, because these pictures will be time-stamped and I can easily go back and access them to be able to do some type of benchmark to determine how well this video was doing, you know, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, to kind of gauge how I'm doing. You can always just watch these stats on their own, but sometimes when you're trying to go back and look at data over a period of time, a week or 2 weeks or a month, it's not as easy to look at the data and kind of extrapolate backwards to determine where that number was in relation to where you are now. And sometimes it's just easier to be able to look at a complete snapshot on the screen and say, okay, on this date, I had this number of views, this number of subscribers, this, that, and the other, and it's easier to make a comparison. So that's just another suggestion there. The next tip that I want to give you is that videos sometimes take longer to index and begin to rank. And what I mean by this is sometimes a video can pick up steam over time, even if initially it doesn't start out shooting up the charts. And I've seen this time and time again. Sometimes it may take several months for a video to just all of a sudden take off. So just be aware of that and don't get discouraged if you post a video and there's just crickets there initially. Sometimes it will take time for that video to take off. Which brings me on to my next suggestion, which is that once a video is posted, you don't have to just walk away from it and never touch it again. If you're watching your videos closely and you're looking at your analytics, you can very easily determine if you have a video that's underperforming based on the other content that you've created. And many times throughout the short lifespan of my channel, I have gone in and made changes such as changing out a thumbnail or even changing out a title or a description. And I've seen awesome results with doing this. Sometimes the video has just been kind of lagging and the view and watch time has just been flat, and then I can make those changes and then almost immediately see an elevation in the overall consumption of that video. So that's something that you want to keep in mind. However, I cannot stress the importance enough of making sure that you have done the proper research on the front end before you post your video to make sure that you have come up with a title that is going to work for you, because you don't want to keep making changes to that video once you've already posted it, okay? And if you're going to make changes to your thumbnail and your title and things like that, it's probably going to be best to probably wait a week or two before you do that, just to give YouTube a chance to go ahead and index and analyze what you have there. If you keep making changes, it kind of keeps resetting the clock and can have an overall negative impact. I've seen videos that I have had that have made multiple changes to the video in a very short period of time, and the videos just kind of never really took off the way that I thought that they should. The next tip that I want to share with you guys is to set goals. So when I started my channel, I didn't really have any goals that I was working towards. I just wanted to start posting content. And in retrospect, I should have had some type of posting schedule that I was committed to from the outset. So even with regards to what you're ultimately trying to gain out of your channel, you also want to have an idea of what you're working towards, because that's one of the things that can help keep you focused, even if that goal changes over time, which it probably will. So my next tip for you guys is going to be to run your own race. Don't get caught up with comparing your channel to other people's channels. My channel has taken quite a bit of time to get to 100 subscribers, and there's a lot of different reasons that I contribute to that slow growth. However, I've not gotten discouraged at any point throughout this process. Even though I kind of monitor what other people are doing, I'm running my own race. And what I mean by that is sometimes you may get caught up with looking at how fast someone else's channel is growing, and you begin to think that, well, my channel is never going to grow, and why are they able to grow faster than me, and things like that, rather than simply focusing on what you're working on and doing the best that you can do to increase the growth of your channel in particular. And sometimes you have to also consider that the content that you're making may not have as broad of an audience, which means it can take people longer time to find you. There's nothing wrong with that. These are all factors that you can consider on the front end before you launch your channel. So do some really good analysis on the front end before you jump into it and get started. The next tip I want to give you guys is to build a website. And I know this can be kind of a seemingly daunting task. You're already trying to launch a YouTube channel, but trust me, it's totally worth it. And the reasons are multiple, but I'll just share with you a few. Number one, you have complete control over your website. You can post what you want, when you want, and your people who are engaging with your content have a place to always find you. Things can change on YouTube. Sometimes people's channels get deleted, videos get moved, things like that can happen with mistakes that you may make or things that may happen on their side, which may cause them to remove your content from their platform. This is something that can happen on any platform. And so you need to be aware that if you have a platform of your own, i.e. your website, you're the one that controls that, and you can dictate what goes up and what comes down. Additionally, this is going to give you a direct link to your content consumers or subscribers or viewers, however you want to call the people that are engaging with your content. So this is 15 plus steps or tips that I think would be very important to someone that is starting a channel off. Hopefully you found this video informative. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one.